Hey peeps, Tyler here with a book review for Many Lives, Many Masters, the true story of a prominent psychiatrist, his young patient, and the past life therapy that changed both their lives by Brian L. Weiss. Not sure if that's how you say his name or not. And I actually wrote it on Substack. I will leave a link in the description if you want to read it. So I'll be reading that. Apologies if I look tired. I'm extremely tired. I'm okay. I'm just been up a long time and no sleep because doctor's appointment. But I'm okay. I'm just really tired. So, it involves past lives, reincarnation, and my review includes some info about one of my own. So, as a traditional psychotherapist, Dr. Brian Weiss was astonished and skeptical when one of his patients began recalling past life traumas that seemed to hold the key to her recurring nightmares and anxiety attacks. His skepticism was eroded, however, when she began to channel messages from the space between lives, which contained remarkable revelations about Dr. Weiss's family and his dead son. Using past life therapy, he was able to cure the patient and embark on a new, more meaningful phase of his own career. So yeah, I gave this 5 stars. So, while this is going to be a book review, I'm going to start with some relevant stuff about me. In September of 2024, I had a strange, but ultimately wonderful experience, though it led to some dark moments, but ones I had to go through, and I'm so glad I did. I have complete aphantasia, by which I just mean all the senses, because I don't believe the other senses have names. If you don't know what aphantasia is, it just means I can't literally picture things in my head when I'm awake. I do dream. Apparently asleep and awake brain are different parts of the brain, I guess. That's not the point, though. The point is many clairs, like clairvoyance, clairaudio, or whatever it's called, etc., there are many of them, are unavailable to me. I can, as I learned, have claircognizance, aka a clear sense of knowing. It's really hard to explain, and also really easy to brush off. And I don't get to choose when or what, and it's a very weird feeling. I can't explain it. But if you get it, you know. But I had started meditating and now do every day, minus when I'm too sick, like with the flu that had been going around, as then I worry I'll just fall asleep. But if I'm not worried I'll just fall asleep, then I've been meditating every day for months now. The experience, well, I learned one of my past lives. I won't go into too much detail, but stuff about one of my past lives. I won't go into too much detail, but at one point I was begging the divine to please show me I was mistaken, that I'd gone insane. Please. No, I wasn't some evil person, and I'm sure I have many more past lives I don't know anything about. But while not a bad person by any means, also human like anyone else. And I ended up learning that my dad, who I don't speak to, and I have no idea if he's watching me online or not, and if he is, I know damn well he won't believe me. But anyway, I ended up learning that I was his father in my last life. And I was the preachy asshole, with good intentions, apparently, but I stopped talking to my dad 2 years ago when I started T. I'm a trans man, I'm also 36 as of writing this. I gave him a chance, but I can't handle the constant shoving of his beliefs down my throat, and how me being queer is a sin and going to hell, blah blah blah, and the constant dead naming and daughter. Do I believe he loves me? Yes. I know it now more than ever, but I'm not dealing with that shit. So that means this is now apparently our second lifetime in a row that I know of that we're estranged, not talking to each other. And I have no idea what to do about it. But now I know I'm just feeling the way I made him feel in our last life. And for that I am deeply sorry. I still feel stuck though because I know he wouldn't believe me. Because I know he wouldn't believe me. Amidst the begging to be wrong, I just kept getting thing after thing showing me that no, I wasn't wrong. The universe said, you're ready to know this and know it. You will. It's ironic. I've spent so many years with a burning hatred for anyone preachy. Even if I completely agree with everything you're preaching, I still hate it so fucking much. I can't stand preachy people. I also can't stand holier than thou vegans, because I got medical issues that mean I can't be vegetarian even if I wanted to. Oh yeah, I was one of them too in my past life. Oops. For the last few months of 2024, I also got obsessed with astrology. I'm still a beginner, but when I say obsessed, I mean it. I've seen so much stuff with astrology already. It's way more than just your sun sign. Way more. My top 3, because they say your sun, moon, and rising, your top, 3 My top 3 are Aquarius, Sun, Aries, Moon, and Libra Rising. And even that is not scratching the surface. Anyway, onto the book. In September, I read Your Soul's Plan by Robert Schwartz, which also got me started on this path, and I highly recommend it, as well as this book, Many Lives, Many Masters by Brian L. Weiss. I love how he initially tried conventional therapy methods, and only when nothing worked did he give hypnosis a try. And then he wasn't expecting any past life shit. He was agnostic. He wasn't expecting any of that. And why do I love that? Well, the thought of hypnosis has always terrified me, as well as I've always believed, still will unless it ever happens, that I can't be hypnotized, and the thought scares me so much. For some reason, I think aphantasia might stop it. I have no idea. If you have aphantasia and you've been hypnotized, can you please let me know? But the thought scares me so much, like, why would you trust someone to do that? What if for the rest of your life you start doing something stupid or worse when something says some benign word, or you get the idea. For some reason I think of, like, somebody says something, start clucking like a chicken, which is, I suppose, kind of benign, but popular hypnosis probably scared me at some point. The thought of it scared me so much I thought anyone willing to go under hypnosis was, well, a dumbass, to be frank, and a weakling if it worked. I can see that now that I was wrong about hypnosis. It still scares me, though. Anyway, again and again throughout the book, things kept happening that I think prove it, all of it. Things kept being known that couldn't have possibly been known and then confirmed. Catherine, the patient, said, and I don't think that's her real name, but the patient said stuff about Brian and his son, who had only lived like 23 days, I think he said, in 1971, and this was in the 80s, so it was about a decade before this even happened. And it was in the 80s, they couldn't Google it. In fact, there was a interview with Oprah. It was like a short video, I'll link it in the description, so you can watch it, of him talking to Oprah. It was before Google and everything, you couldn't Google it, there was no obituary or anything. And she said stuff about Brian and his son, as well as his father, both of which had passed away, under hypnosis, that she had no way of knowing. There was no possible way for her to know all that. And that's just the start. I loved that he talks about the scientific method and stuff like that throughout. He's very logical and scientific, not just some woo-woo person. I already believed in past lives and reincarnation, so that wasn't my issue. But as I mentioned, I did have reservations about hypnosis. And I do very much value being skeptical and not just blindly believing anything and everything. Even though I am pagan and do believe in the paranormal and stuff, I still, like, believe in, this science and looking at everything from every possible angle, stuff like that, if that makes sense. A quote, "This was a standard textbook treatment for Catherine's symptoms, and I never hesitated to use tranquilizers or even antidepressant medicines to treat chronic severe fears and anxieties. Now I use these medicines much more sparingly and only temporarily, if at all. No medicine can reach the real roots of these symptoms. My experience with Catherine and others like her have proved this to me. Now I know there can be cures, not just the suppression or covering over of symptoms." So much yes. I was on trazodone, an antidepressant, for 11 years. Something I forgot to mention in the review is I had a house fire in September of 2012, which is why I got on trazodone initially, because I was having nightmares and I couldn't sleep, and I didn't even know it was an antidepressant when they put me on it. But then I stayed on it for 11 years for other reasons. I really did not need it for 11 years for that house fire. Even though I do think I needed it, like, temporarily, maybe. But I did not need it for 11 frickin' years. I wanted to unalive myself for nearly 20 frickin' years, since I was a teenager. The antidepressant was just a band-aid and not a great one. I can see that now. I did end up realizing pretty early on that it was an antidepressant too. I'm like, oh. So, I never should have been on it, except maybe temporarily. What really fixed my issues? Well, it started with realizing my main issue was that I'm a trans man and was in denial. I needed to be fully myself, not put on an antidepressant. Now, I'm not saying medication for mental health is never the answer. Sometimes it is, or can be, but I do think we have a highly over-medicated population. And I'm actually scared to admit that online. But. And I was born with factual association. I need medicine to live due to my body not working. I'm not against medication completely, obviously. But with mental health, it's often just a band-aid. And Catherine, through hypnosis and past life regression, was completely cured of crippling fears and anxieties. The proof is all there. You can see I got a crap ton of annotations. Sometimes it may be needed for certain conditions or temporarily, but why use a band-aid when you can cure the problem, like depression and anxiety, and truly be free and happy? Learning I chose this life before I was born, to be born disabled and trans and more, is honestly so freeing. Yes, the past few months there has been darkness and really hard moments and a lot of thinking and meditating. Self-growth is not easy, but the end result is so worth it. Catherine didn't even believe in reincarnation and didn't want to hear anything she was saying under hypnosis, even though he recorded it. The master spirits, guardian angels, whatever you want to call them really, said it was for him, not for her, though they both benefited from it. And he, through this, was helping her and, as mentioned, did cure her. But still, she didn't want to hear the recordings. It creeped her out. How's that for more proof there's more to this world than meets the eye? There's so much here I could go through this, and I could probably talk about this book for hours. Like, if you want me to go through more in another video, I can. I've barely even started going through my annotations. I literally went through for like a couple pages and then said fuck it because it already written so much. But fuck it, I've written plenty already. There's so much more wisdom in this book. The world is complex but also beautiful. I've never been more at peace. It wasn't easy at all to get here, but I'm so glad I am here now and can't wait to see where I go from here. It's just the beginning. This book has already changed so many lives, and I believe it can change so many more. Blind faith really isn't needed. Proof of the divine, however you want to conceive of it, is all around if you know where to look. There is truth in all religions at their core. Granted, yes, people screw shit up, but that's why I said at their core. Love, hope, charity, generosity, these are the things life is about. One day we'll all be equal and at peace. We're not there yet, obviously, but one day we will be. We are all a part of the divine. Namaste. I also watched a couple of other reviews from other people. I will link in the description as well if you want to check them out. So yeah, I love this book. I gave it 5 stars. I also mentioned that Your Soul's Plan by Robert Schwartz. I also love that and gave that 5 stars too. That was a few months ago though. So yeah, that's my review. Honestly, now I'd probably say more spiritual than anything, even though sometimes I still just say I'm Wiccan because that like makes it easy for people to understand and it still kind of fits. Not religious though, spiritual. But that's me. So yeah, highly recommend this book. I've been on such a journey, and yeah. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell if you want to. Thank you for watching. And if you want me to go through more of this, I can. But yeah, thank you for watching. Namaste.